Let's start off with a presentation first before we get to the next conversation of the day. We're going to be talking about the biggest influencer that you've heard about through the day, which indeed is technology. Whether it's about changing technology that we wear and use, or how that's changed the consumer and their mindsets. And to talk a little bit more about that, coming on stage now is James Morley Smith. He's CTO of Zebra Technologies for the emerging market and Asian region.
My name's James Morley Smith. I'm from Zebra Technologies. And I'm going to talk to you a bit about visibility at the edge. So creating information, using information to create intelligent choices, to create the experience necessary in the retail world today. We stand on the brink of a technological revolution that will fundamentally alter the way we live, work, and relate to one another. This was a statement made by Klaus Schwab. He's the founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum. He made this statement back in January this year at Davos, the annual conference for the World Economic Forum. And what he's talking about, what he goes on to talk about when he says this, is that we are entering the fourth industrial revolution. The first industrial revolution being when we started using steam and water to produce products, to manufacture products. And then moving on to indirect labor, using electrical systems to mass produce. And then moving into the 1970s when we brought in electronics and IT systems to streamline production. Now, he calls this the bridge between the physical and the digital world. And this is what is the fourth industrial revolution. And this isn't just Klaus making stuff up. There is actual pointers indicating the way here. And right now, today, we've seen since 2010 a 72% increase in the number of enterprise-managed devices. It's a huge increase. It represents 1.3 billion mobile workers, which is a 13% increase from 2010. That's according to the IDC. And then moving forward, the projections show that there will be 1.75 billion global mobile workers by the year 2020. So not far off. That's nearly, it's not far off of 50% of the global workforce being enabled to do their work via a mobile computer. 44 zettabytes of data, 10% of the internet, increasing over the next 3 years. 21 billion connected devices in the global Internet of Things. So that's not just mobile computers. That's not mobile phones alone. That's also Internet of Things widgets, your thermometers at home, your computers, your set-top boxes. But most importantly out of all that is that the enterprise, which includes retail, is set to surpass and is very close to surpassing consumer adoption of IoT. And that is opportunity for us. That's opportunity for Zebra and you retailers to take advantage of the Internet of Things. And the Internet of Things is not just, we talk about it as being something that you can buy. I'm going to buy some Internet of Things, but it's not. It's a notion. It's a thought. We don't talk about buying some Internet. That's just something we accept. The Internet of Things will become something that we just work with all the time. That is part of our daily lives. So, disruptive innovations and the systems of reality. If we look back a bit, since 1990, when the adoption of PCs, ERP systems, and the internet, that gave us the systems of record. So the ability to have a look and say, this is where my stock is, this is what my workers are doing, and this is what I believe will be the time that something is delivered. We record, we take note, and that gives us some visibility into our operations. Moving on, with the invent of the smartphones, software as a service, and public cloud, there was systems of engagement. So this is where we start bringing in the internet and e-commerce and moving some of that engagement aspect, the marketing aspect, into the cloud and giving the consumer the ability to shop online. Where technology is today, and what's really happening is that we have systems of reality. And this is where the technology is moving us. With smart sensors, analytics, and private cloud, creating that, giving you the ability to say, not just, we think that there's this amount of stock in this warehouse, or we think that this truck is going to deliver some stock at this point. We know exactly that this store has exactly these items of clothing. We know that this truck is not going to be delivered some point this afternoon. It's going to be delivered in the next 5 minutes. So you can create a world where the consumer knows that if they go to a store, they can get it at that point. That if they place an order for something, they can get it within the next 2 hours. So the experience economy has arrived. And I think there was some good discussions this morning around what is the difference between, where are we going to have retail stores, or is everything going to be e-tail based? I don't think that's the answer. I think the answer is actually what is the experience that the consumer is after. And in many cases, that will be a combination of both. And how much it leans each way will depend on exactly what products it is being sold and the experience that that customer desires at that time. And our challenge, and the question to you, is how do we remain nimble enough and agile enough to switch and change to the experience that the customer requires at any one time? So if we take a quick look at some of our vertical markets that we address at Zebra, and this gives a glimpse into the state of play today and where this is going to go. We talked this morning a lot about the fact that there is definitely a shift between bricks and mortar retail and e-commerce. And in T&L, from the regular delivery system to actually delivering within an hour. And when will this happen, and how will this happen? And what does that mean to the retailer? What does that mean to the consumer and their experience all round? Manufacturing. What will happen when the quality of 3D printing is at a point where we can actually print something in a store, create and manufacture in a store? How does that affect transportation and logistics? How does that affect the retail market? And healthcare, this is really truly affected by systems of reality, where in the past, healthcare workers, nurses would spend a lot of time actually documenting what's happened, not by the bedside of a patient. Whereas with systems of reality, that's all happens in the background, automatically, with cameras being able to take video analytics and understand what the healthcare worker is doing, so they can spend all their time with the patient instead of documenting. So the next thing is, if you had more visibility into your stock, into your operations, what would you do? What would that information be? What would you need? And what would you do with that information if you had it? In this example here, we're showing how just a small amount of visibility into a store. This is not just a store. You put RFID tags on the products, you know where they are, you know who's interacting with those. Combine those with a sensor that's using a combination of information, not just the location of an RFID tag or the presence of an RFID tag, but combine that with some video analytics to say who is interacting with that RFID tag. When did they move it? Where are they going next? How long has a product been on the shelf? How many people have interacted with it? And all of this coming from a single sensor that gives you multiple points of interest. Can you see the movement of someone around a store? Can you tell if someone's taken a product, slipped it into a foil bag so that it can no longer be read by an RFID reader and tried to steal it? But if we can connect that with a video analytics system that says that RFID tag has gone into a bag, or we can no longer see it, but I can see it on a camera, we can then do something about that in a discrete and sensible way. So the systems that are required to support this we need to collect information from all sorts of sources, all sorts of edge technologies. At Zebra, we call this enterprise asset intelligence. And our strategy is all around bringing data together to create more intelligence. So sensors from all sorts of places coming in, bringing constant information from the Internet of Things, combining that with intelligence from external sources, whether that be a store's own inventory system, whether that be the movements of a transportation logistics company, whether that be the government's meteorological system telling you what the weather is, so you know to put more strawberries in the store. And then delivering it to the end user at the right time when it makes a difference. So giving that information, bringing it all together, creating intelligence from that and delivering it at the right time to the user to be able to make smart choices. So this is how we will deliver the experience economy. Thinking about some of the problems that can be solved with such a solution, with such a system. You know, on average, right now, with a system of record, 65% of inventory reported through inventory management software is actually only correct. So 35% is incorrect. With a system of reality, you would know that everything is correct. Yeah, so tag clothing, tag products, provide that information to the end user at the right time, and you have 100% visibility. In America, 1 in 6 people every year fall sick to foodborne diseases. So put smart tags, put smart labels on products, labels that are not only able to tell you where something is, but also the temperature, the humidity, whether something has shifted dramatically, whether it's been dropped. Yeah, this isn't just necessarily foods. This could be an expensive television set that would be damaged if rolled or dropped. Yeah, giving that farm-to-fork visibility to an end user, showing, demonstrating the quality of the product. This clicker's got it in for me. Here we go. So over the past 5 minutes, we would have collected over 3 million enterprise IoT events. The question to you as retailers is what would you do with that information if you could make more intelligent choices from it? So bringing together evolution of computing, of devices that allow you to present information in the right way, in the right form factor, that's not going to inhibit productivity or cause errors to the end user, bringing in the data-generating revolution to create intelligence, to give users the ability to make the right choice, and enabling better outcomes. Thank you.